Hello, WPF. This is mine and JK's unofficial Magikarp preseason PR. Um, I JK.
Yeah, no, it's good to be doing some PRs with you, and thanks for having me on. And
Yeah,
hopefully we don't ruffle too many feathers, but I think this is a pretty good take.
I think the best take that we got from looking at this for so long is just whoever gets Mamoswine first is gonna win the league.
Yeah, exactly. It's out there, free pickings. Go
It's
for it.
it's FA. It's right now.
Like actually, so yeah, we'll probably end up mentioning that a few times as we go along. But
Right.
should we move on
Yeah.
to numero uno?
Jumping in,
Who's at the top? Let's see.
we have the Delhi's Pulse at number
Yeah, I think this team is pretty good. What do you think?
one. It's got two useless picks. We'll start with the bad. Two completely useless picks. Sliggoo and Audino.
Yeah.
I I get like Sliggoo's got decent defenses and all, but it's got shit moves. It has to Eviolate,
Mhm.
and it's not like a Tangela where it has a lot of good utility moves or anything.
Yeah, the issue with Audino and Sliggoo is that I don't have to prep for them, and even if they come, it's not like it's gonna be a big game changer. And
You're
they're
actually
both,
happy.
yeah, I'm happy exactly, and they're both setup food for free. Like if I'm a team with Mega Maw, I see Sliggoo or Audino, I click a Swords Dance and then I proceed to like wreak havoc. So
Um, but with the good shit, so like obviously this team looks super weak dice because it's got Mega Venu, it's got which is weak before Mega obviously, then Gliscor and the bird
Mandibuzz.
Mandibuzz.
Yeah, names are hard.
uh, so it looks like it's really weak dice, but its switch-ins actually threaten nice out as opposed to just resisting it. So, even then, like what we would say is its biggest weakness is not too big of weakness, though. Water with ice coverage, which is most of them, is still a problem.
Yeah. Escavalier is a very good fit for this team for that reason. It threatens a lot of what ends up threatening some of the big players on this team, which is really good for it. And Darm, can come in because this team doesn't need Darm to carry it, which makes it a lot more scary or a lot scarier for an opponent to prep for because they already have to prep for Mega Venu, Glysaur, Keldeo, and Mandibuzz on top of that, and then stuff like Chandelure, Helios can also catch people by surprise.
And the fact that you can see a team with Galarian Darmanitan and not even like it's not necessarily an expectation that it will come. It's like a 50-50 because it's this team's got a lot of things that can do a lot of stuff. So it's not even necessary for it to come. It's just a threat you have to prepare for.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
team is super super well rounded minus the last two picks, but it keeps the top spot because everything else about it is super super good.
I mean, I think Gardevoir's kind of weak for a fairy, personally,
Yeah,
but it's still a good Pokemon, you know?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely not the strongest thing available, but it's still
Yes.
something that if it comes, it's gonna, what is it, base 130 special attack. It's still gonna dish out some decent
Hurt.
damage.
Yeah. And it's got the coverage it needs, so.
Yeah.
And number two? Wanna go number two?
Or do we want to discuss how we think Keldeo's gonna be the MVP for this team? Or
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Uh Keldeo kills the ice types.
yeah, Secret Sword's gonna be very valuable. It can resist everything that isn't freeze dry, that some of the main threats this team wanna bring. Um, it hits a very nice speed tier for this team as well.
It's
Um,
also this like one of the best sweepers for this team, with Calm Mind sub being like a really strong set against teams that don't have anything for it.
yeah, and teams that have a fast enough answer for Chandelure but not for Keldeo, Keldeo will be able to shine for sure. So yeah, move on to
Yeah.
number two,
Number two, we
and
got
we're
we've
going
got the big numbers team.
we've got the Mad Lad Zamazenta and the supporting cast of pretty good supporting cast, I would say.
Main characters Amazenta, and then just like the background characters.
Yeah. But you
Uh,
see, Zamazenta might be the knight in shining armor, but we've got a pretty good red mage, black mage, white mage, thief. We got the whole 9 yards. This party's
True.
gonna dish out some damage.
They're gonna keep it alive. Uh, They're gonna tank this stuff. Well, actually, it's the tank. This guy's like 10 levels higher than everyone else,
Yeah,
but that's still
exactly.
okay.
He's the hero with all the broken gear and abilities.
So Panda doesn't think Zamazenta will still be good, and we don't think it's like god tier or anything, but its numbers are fucking huge.
Yeah.
Zamazenta's stats are absurd, and it's not like its move pool is bad. It's
It's got a
like
good
it's
move
got
pool.
good coverage.
Yeah, it's got everything
Yeah,
it needs. Base 120 and 100 fighting and steel stab respectively is very good. Um, Dauntless Shield means that even it doesn't really care about the drop from close combat. Um,
and obviously it can't hold an item, but when your item is +1 defense, meaning that on top of your 145, you don't even have to run defensive to be a wall. Like this thing can run full offensive with speed and attack and still be walling
your
things.
item is like plus 30 to your defensive stats and a steel typing, and I'd trade that for like most items any day of the week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then there's the rest of things on the team. Slowbro's obviously a really good mon, just in general. I don't know how well it pairs with Almazenta in particular, because it's another physical wall. But
Yeah. I mean, I think it pairs pretty well. Like, it covers for fire and fighting, which are the two
true.
biggest weaknesses that stand out for me. Ground, it doesn't cover, but most ground attackers are going to be spamming EQ. So it's got good physical bulk, and it can run, like a Silvally flying 1 week, Hydreigon has levitate, Superior resists, Tangela resists.
Tangela.
There's a
Tangela
lot of
never
good
dies.
options to pair with Zam and Bro to make a very scary defensive core to break. This team is very hard to break, in my
And
opinion.
so I want to talk about Superior. So this team has like good. There's nothing really terrible here. The worst thing you have to prep for is Kecleon.
And that's a
But
compliment. If
yeah,
that's
it's
the
a
worst thing you have
compliment.
to prep for, yeah.
Superior. People keep saying that's like it's really bad tier 3, and maybe that's true. I haven't used it yet, but like it doesn't necessarily always have to be just an offensive mon, right? It's got a really solid support move pool, which is really useful for this team. Like spraying out pairs, especially on ground types, while being able to resist and outspeed almost every ground type. That's really strong for this team.
Yeah.
And then also being able to kill them if you have to with Leaf Storm.
Yeah, no, I think the loss of hidden power is greatly overstated with Superior because like this thing doesn't need a 6-0 the enemy team. Like you kill the opposing steel types with close combat Zamazenta, with Earth Power DNC, with Silvally of your choice, and then
With Flareon Flare Blitz.
exactly like you can even run a surprising guts flare blitz sets 1 week and then take your
Never do
opponent
it
by
again.
surprise. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, hey, you bring it once, it works once, it's all you need, right? So there's just so many ways this team can beat you, and there's nothing truly useless on this team that you can just ignore, which makes it very scary. And there's a lot of ways it can win. Like Nidoqueen can set all kinds of hazards. Like it can stall you out with toxic spikes. Um, like there's a lot of
Ultimate's
pivoting on this
fast as fuck.
team. Yeah, it's really scary.
Yeah.
I like this team a lot.
Uh, and Zamazenta MVP
Yeah, I
obvious reasons.
people are gonna prep for it. I think we both think it's still gonna put in its fair share of work because it has a good supporting cast around it to let it function.
And 3.
Yeah. So
I
we've
had to
got
fight for this team to be up
yeah.
here.
I can take a start because I had to be convinced that this team would be better than number 8 or so in the rankings. I'm not really high on a lot of these mons individually. Warsaw over here, told me there's 5 priority mons here and they're all very good. Like Bullet Punch Mega Caesar, um, Mach Punch Technician Breloom, Extreme Speed, um, Dragonite, and
Dragonite.
then Ice Shard on Donphan and Sneasel. So, and then Ditto's always a very good X factor.
Yeah.
Um, the biggest thing with this team, I think, is that I think that the team doesn't quite gel as well as some of the other teams even below it, but there's a lot of
I
individual good threats and pretty decent balance all around, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with that. And honestly, so I think that this goes with the gel, and I think or the gel thing, and I think it supports it. I think that if this team had a fire type that wasn't Typhlosion, I think that you would be much higher on it. I think having Typhlosion be this like bond that feels like kind of have to bring, 'cause it's an important part of the core, is really bad for you because Typhlosion sucks.
I mean, Flashfire is really good for this team, but yeah, Typhlosion not so much. I
Like
mean, if you
imagine
can
if that was
get,
an Arcanine.
I mean, I would take Arcanine 100 times out of 100, but if you can get into a Flashfire on Scarf, Eruption Typhlosion, I mean, you might have just won yourself a game.
True.
So there's a lot of things on this team that can be very scary, and I think Ditto is actually one of the scariest parts of this team because it threatens the opponent to not run setup, which allows some of the setup mons on this team to go insanely wild, like DD Dragonite, SD Mach Punch, and SD Bullet Punch on Breloom and Caesar. Like, having
And
Ditto
potential
just as a
nasty plot
threat.
rotom.
What's up?
Potential nasty plot rotom.
Also, yes, that's true. I keep forgetting that thing gets Nasty Plot. Yeah, there's a
It's
lot
so
of ways
good.
this team could set up on you, which is good. And Ditto makes sure that the opponent has to think twice before setting up back.
Yeah. And the reason why the priority is also so good is because the other big problem with this is the speed tiers are like they aren't awful, they're decent. But nothing breaks 115. But when you have a team of 5 really solid priority mons, it matters a lot less.
Yeah. The thing is but like there's the base 100 with Typhlosion, and then there's Rotom at like 86, and then Dragonite at 80, and then Breloom at 70. Like, so it's like not bad, but like
In the middle, it's really
it's like, yeah, it's a little awkward, but I think it's not as bad as some other teams for sure. But
good.
yeah,
Oh yeah, wink wink. So some other teams.
aha, wink wink hint hint. Yes. We'll get to that. But I think Ditto's going
Yeah,
to be a very big wild card, and
it's
I
probably
think
the
we
most
both think it's
important
probably going
mon.
to be the MVP, even if it's not doing it by
Yeah, even
itself.
if it's even if it's not the mon actually doing things, it's stopping that Volcarona from clicking Quiver Dance. It's doing that.
Yeah, it's letting Caesar get a little bit more breathing room, which is very nice for it.
All right, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have the Lake Erie Monsters at number 4.
We are
Yeah, what do you
hard
think about
pressed
this?
to put it here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting it at 4 felt kind of bad, honestly. Not because we wanted higher, because we both kind of wanted it lower. No offense.
I mean, yeah, no, I think this team is honestly pretty solid. I think there's a couple like big issues. Um, Sceptile as your only grass is like eh. Like, I would much rather want to see Sceptile on a team that could reliably proc on Burden via like a terrain or something. But I think I'm a bigger Sceptile believer than most, so I think I'm still respecting this thing in prep. Um,
Oh yeah, I think you have to respect it because it can deal
yeah,
decent damage.
I think if you get rid of Zapdos Galar, um, ground kind of does do a big number on this team, um, which is a little awkward for it. Like, Sceptile doesn't really want to take a strong hit, like, period.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Regieleki
Maybe
is overrated.
me too. I think that just electric type is bad
It's gonna be good for
because
screens, but like that's it, and
yeah.
spin. And it's gonna
And
honestly rely on it for rapid spinning a lot because his removal options are not great. It's either
they're
spin
bad.
Zapdos or spin Regieleki.
um I don't respect Mega Glalie at all. It's not like terrible or anything, but I don't think it's a real threat ever. Like I think I would be more scared of like a Mega Banet than Mega Glalie
I
most of
would
the
be too.
time.
Yeah.
Uh and then another thing. The Firewire grass isn't it's like okay. But I think that Blastoise is kind of terrible defensively, and then its offense is through Shell Smash, which kind of makes it a one trick pony. Um, which I don't know how bad it is or good. It's just like it's awkward.
I'm pretty big on the Blastoise hype train. I think Blastoise is good in a vacuum. I think on this team it's got a little bit less room to shine because it's kind of pressured into being a more defensive pivot, but getting access to flip turn helps a lot.
That's true. It does a flip turn.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of very individually scary mons on this team that, given the right breathing room to be put in place to succeed, they absolutely will, and it's very scary on paper. But the more you think about it and the more you look about it, you can definitely see that there's a big gap between this team and the three teams above it.
Absolutely. And the more you think about it, the more you look at it, you see how reliant this team is on Clefable
Yeah.
picking up a lot of slack.
Hmm.
Which, like, there's not. Clef is good and it's really good, but its stats are still bad. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have good stats, and
Fairy typing and three good abilities will do that to a mon. Make it good.
yep, its stats are like a mon. Like there's mons that can just go through this team and kill it when
Yeah, like
Clefable is
Excadrill would
unable to.
actually wreck this team for the most part.
Ooh, yeah, it would.
Like
There's no sand Excadrill there.
I don't think there's a Sand Excadrill team. I don't think Excadrill was even drafted.
Damn, I would
Yeah.
pick up Excadrill as a vanilla mon. Good spinner.
No, I mean I think like I don't know, like there's definitely a clear gap between this team and the next team, but this still is obviously like we're ranking it top four. We still like it. There's just a little bit more flaws here than.
Though we did also begrudgingly put top four. To be fair. Okay,
True.
let's look at five. Let's look at five. We've got the Rain team.
Without rain. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
A little bit of a controversial pick from what we've seen thus far, having it this high, but I don't know. I think this team's really solid, minus a couple things that could be changed about it.
Yeah. One of them, Hitmonlee, is completely used. There's almost no reason to ever bring Hitmonlee over Halucha. It's kind of just like Hitmonlee is the thing you get when Halucha got drafted by the person who got Tapu Bulu,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Like there's some niche sets you could do with it, and I guess it technically is a higher attack stat, but like Halucha's dual stab and better coverage probably makes it better like 9 times out of 10.
and it's speed,
And it's
beat,
speed,
like,
yeah. Like you can't even outspeed this thing with a lot of Scarfers. So there's very few counters to it. Like you probably need to sack something, or pray you have like Hippowdon or something.
yeah, some that's just like neutral and can take it forever.
Hmm.
But we think the core is really, really good with the Coco, Gyarados, Chansey, Scizor, and Gligar. Swampert good too, but we aren't like counting it necessarily as much. Yeah, Mr. Rhyme's good. For a tier 5. Is it 5?
Uh, I think it's 5. Yeah, actually.
It's either 5 or 4. Oh wait, he doesn't have a 5 Oz team. It
No,
has 4.
Charizard's 5.
Oh, you're right. Charizard is 5. Maybe it's 4.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's solid. It's got freeze
Regardless, yeah,
dry.
it's got a good ice types. Green Cleaners is gonna be pretty good against specific teams, like mine maybe, but
Maybe.
um,
Or the Regieleki team.
yeah, it's like this team is very scary, and even like stuff like Charizard, you have to like respect a little bit. Um,
And
so
this team looks like it's really weak to knock off, which it definitely is.
yeah,
Um, with the Gligar and Chansey, obviously, but being weak to knock off when you have Mega Gara and Tapu Koko matters a lot less because these are really scary mons that you don't want to just let in for free. And on Gara, it's completely free, and
yeah.
on Koko, it's mostly free. You lose your item.
I mean,
Um,
Halucha gets a free +2 speed whenever it gets knocked off.
that's true. Haluch is also a free switch
It
in.
doesn't get the
You know what?
defense boost, but
Hitmonlee's a free switch in.
true, big brain right there. Yeah, I don't
Big
know.
brain.
Like this team has a very solid top six and a not terrible bottom six. Compare and you'll see a theme later on where like there's a lot of other teams that have a pretty good top 5 or 6, but then the rest of
And
the team is not nearly as good as this one.
yeah.
So
All right, 6?
yeah,
Oh, and Coco's MVP because it's Tapu Koko.
yeah, it's gonna be supporting everything. It's gonna be the star of the show here.
Defogging, volt switching,
Yeah,
roosting, everything. It's
it's
the
gonna be
pivot, it's the support, it's the
whatever the
sweeper.
whatever the team needs, it's gonna be, and it has the flexibility here to do that, which is really nice.
Yep.
But yeah,
Right,
Number
6.
6, we've got the Green Bay Pakekleons, and Megamaw and Zeraora are very scary together, and this team's got a lot of bulk to back it up.
Yeah. At first glance, it looks like this team is horrifically weak to ice, which it is. But it's got Mega Mawile, who does not does not care at all
Unless if
about
your name
ice.
is Mamoswine.
Wink, wink. Yeah,
Like even
Mamo.
freeze dry just beats Seismitoad. It's actually free. Like
Yeah, there's in my opinion, there's not a ton to say about this team. There's like good support mons, good walls, but it's just Mega Mawile being the star of the show with some support,
yeah, this is another team that
and then
also hates
Zeraora being speedy.
knockoff as well. P2 doesn't want to get knocked off. Sigilif doesn't really want to get knocked off. Swallow doesn't want to get knocked off.
I'd say
Haxorus probably
Tornadus
doesn't want to
doesn't
get
want
knocked off.
to.
Yeah, but he
Losing
has
times
Maw.
probably.
Like without
Yeah.
Maw, this team is like kind of bad, or like a lot
Without Maw,
worse.
this is like
Yeah.
bottom 15.
I mean, I'm not sure because I think Zeraora is a very good place to start for like an offensive team, but like Maw just makes this team so much scarier because like imagine P2 teleporting into this thing and it's just like or like
Oh
you
yeah.
said earlier like when we were talking before like tailwinding into it when just basically sacking like Thunderous or sorry not Thunderous Tornadus to like
Yeah,
tailwind into it.
Prankster, Tailwind, let it die to the aforementioned Mamoswine. It comes in and kills it, and then depending on what the answer is, SDs or hits that thing.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't die because it's stupidly bulky, and then maybe kills two things just because it had double speed.
And honestly, whatever it doesn't kill, Zeraora, Swellow, and Infernape will pick up the slack, and Haxorus.
Yeah,
So like, there's a lot of scary offense and good enough bulk here to back it up to make this team a top half team for sure. And no
yeah,
surprise, Mega Maw's the MVP. We feel like
of
it
course.
will be.
It's the glue, really.
Yeah.
I don't think the team functions without it. This is another team where. Or wait, is this the team where I said if you remove them on, it goes to the bottom?
Yeah. One of
Yeah,
maybe two or three. Yeah.
yeah. So 7, 7.
Yeah. Who's ready for? Excuse me, a
Hey,
hot take and a
wait, it's
half.
JK.
Yeah. So I promised there was no personal bias included in the making of this video.
I was actually part like a really big reason why it was put so high. Um, also, we're gonna. This is like a little mean, but one of the main reasons this one's so high is because we actually think a lot of the teams in Magikarp this time around aren't very good. Um, no offense.
Well, I mean, yeah, like the top three teams are far and away. They're like there's a big gap between 3 and 4, and then 4 through 7 we felt were pretty jumbled. Maybe 4 through 8, I don't remember off the top of my head. But then there's like another big gap after that. Um,
Yeah,
like there's a lot of big gaps, so it was really hard because we had like a lot of clusters. But yeah, like don't get me wrong, this team has a lot of weaknesses, and I'll let Zelda over here explain my team. But yeah, it has a lot of strengths too. At least I feel like
yeah,
where
I
it
agree
outshines.
absolutely.
Yeah, go for it.
So the main thing with this team, at least in my opinion, was that there are a lot of pros, but there's also a lot of cons. It's kind of if the pros outweigh the cons. It's obviously got a lot of support. It's got good defensive core. It's got really good breakers. But also this team can get broken apart with like maybe just the wrong choice banded mon comes and it explodes the team in two, like two hit everything. Um, and then the main thing, like the main problem for me is that you've got Alola Ninetales, and then you kind of have to hope and pray that Nidoking Staraptor under Alolan Ninetales are good enough to get the job done. Because while Mega Aerodactyl can set up, I'll give you that absolutely. It could Dragon Dance. After one D dance, it's basically just howling because all the speed is wasted.
Yeah.
Whereas with mons like Haxorus, 2D dances is always like good. Um, because that second one gets you outside scarf range. Whereas with Aerodactyl, the first one gets you outside scarf range. And then all the other ones are howls.
You can make the same
So
case about Home Claws too, right? Because it pretty much makes Stone Edge not miss.
yeah. Which is, that's what I would say Hone Edge is maybe better. Just because, now your main stat move won't miss.
Yeah, I mean, I also think that at +1 Mega Aerodactyl with the addition of Tough Claws, or with the help of Tough Claws, like kind of just OHKOs like pretty much everything it hits super effectively anyways.
Well, of course, things that hit super effectively, it's gonna kill, but it's the neutral hits that's a problem,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
Hippowdon.
Ice Fang, tap the head.
I don't think that'll kill.
It gets Aqua Tail, which probably
That's
will.
true. It
Um,
might with Tough Claws. It might.
yeah. Well,
But if
maybe
it's at a
Max Def Hippo probably doesn't, but yeah, like the
no
point is
way it
at
kills
+1,
max
it's
def.
it's got enough coverage to kill a lot of things that it's super effectively.
Yeah.
Unless you're like the
So
bulkiest, the bulky. Yeah.
a lot of utility, good walls, good breakers, but like the pieces don't really work together. And I think that there's like I think Alola Tails is almost a wasted pick here. Um, 7. I thought it was pretty fair, mostly in relation to the other things around it. And we think Mew will be the MVP
Yeah.
because well, it has to be.
hmm I mean,
I,
yeah. I mean, I think you can make a case for Mega Arrow, being the other MVP, but yeah, Mew has the ability to just do whatever I need it to, which is
it can
and you
provide
said
you the
Cobalion could
offensive
be a
cover you
sleeper
need it.
MVP as well.
I think Gobalion is the real MVP.
Yo, I can't wait to prove it. Let's go.
Do it, do it.
I will.
Week 1, calm mind, focus miss.
Can't wait. Can't wait to actually click it and miss as is intended. But yeah,
As was intended by the game
all
designers.
part of the plan.
Okay, you blunder policy. Oh my god.
Dude, I zoom went around at the speed of sound.
Okay,
Number
8.
8. Yes.
Yeah,
We have the
we've got
Canterbury Grambles.
uh, JK hates
It's a strong word. I don't like it. I don't think it should be this high. Um,
hates.
but I definitely. Well, we both ended up like basically like coming to amends and like
We kind of came to a middle
a
spot for it.
consensus, like a middle ground. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think this team is overly reliant on Charex for its offense. Like this team is very bulky. Um, and it's kind of annoying to beat. But if Charizard drops, how is this team winning?
yeah. I think the like if Zard drops, I think the only way it gets through is like some sort of wacky regenerator life or regenerator Reuniclus with like some life orb Raikou being able to maybe poke big enough holes to get through. But without Charizard to rip those holes open after they've been, poked, what do? You lose.
Yeah. And another big flaw of this team is that it's kind of reliant on Fortress for a lot of its hazard control, both setting
I
and removing.
We cannot see like a week where you wouldn't want to bring Fortress.
Yeah, because
It
like you have defoggers, but like you don't want to run it on Char-X, and like Lando probably wants like the option to run something else, and then Cryogonal, running Cryogonal. Even if you run Cryogonal as your spinner, like who's setting rocks, right? It's literally
Yeah.
only Fortress and Lando. So,
And with Fortress not as your spinner, well, like, what's the point? What else were you gonna run on Fortress? It's Fortress.
yo, Explosion,
Normal gem.
Gyro Ball, like you can run like a meme offensive set, like I guess if you really wanted to, or like counter probably gets that. But yeah, like Fortress is a lot of what holds this team's hazard game together. Um, and yeah, I'm a big proponent of Fortress, but like that's one less mon that your opponent has to worry about during prep. So
Because they know it'll be there.
yeah,
Yeah. And then the the cores aren't like the strongest in the world. At least I think. Like, I don't think Zardex is always the best fire core. I think it's pretty good for the dragon, but yeah, like Zardex, Milotic, Verzion is kind of really weak.
yeah, not as strong as it could be. And then like I think Zardex and Sylveon is pretty good. Fortress
I
is
think
good,
Fortress
but it's
is
not like
good
the steel you want in that core. Like for example, like Char-X, Sylveon, Excadrill would be really scary.
be
Um,
really scary.
in a
Yeah.
vacuum. But like yeah, like not so much on this team because you already have like Lando, but
Yeah. And
um,
you really need that for.
yeah, like this team is.
Yeah, there's not a ton to say for us. It's just a lot of bulk overly reliant on
Mhm,
X, Zardex, and Fortress. Like the
yeah,
problem is that they're overly reliant to do their own individual job, which is a problem because they don't really get any relief from anywhere.
And now that I'm looking at it, actually, this team has a big speed problem. I don't think we actually really thought about it, but you
Does
have
it?
Cryogonal. Well, you have first of all you have Raikou at 115, right?
Is Raikou one? Yeah, I think it's
And then you have Virizion, Zoroark, and Cryogonal all between 105 and 108. Charizard at 100, Lando at 91, and then you go all the way down to like Sylveon or Melodic.
Milotic.
Yeah, Melodic at like
What's Milotic? Like 70?
60, 61.
60?
It's like 60.
Maybe?
It's like 61, I think.
I'm gonna say it's a 89.
It's slower than Metagross, I know that, and Metagross is 70 because I ran
Mm,
Bulldoze Melodic in VGC once
that's pretty
to
funny.
self-proc weakness policy like a Chad.
So, yeah, that's actually a pretty big deal. The thing, like, it's bad in the middle, but I think its speed tiers are fine at the lower and high
Well,
end.
yeah, no. Basically, what
So,
my point is something like a Nidoking, something like a Bisharp, right? Like
yeah,
can rip through this defense and they can invest fully in bulk, right? Like,
yep.
and that's
They
not
don't have to
ideal.
care about the right too. They
And
don't
I
have to care
don't,
about the right.
I don't know if that changes anything in retrospect because I don't think either of us noticed that till now. But like, that's definitely a detriment to this team, I think.
It probably doesn't. Just knowing where this team is in comparison to the next one,
Yeah, but it
I think.
definitely makes Raikou's job harder to kill stuff, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Because now like I mean like for example like let's say your specs I don't know specs Raikou and you're facing against Bisharp. What normally might kill with Thunderbolt, assuming you're locked in the Thunderbolt, not Aura Sphere, maybe doesn't anymore, right? So like that's a big deal for this team. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you want to move on
And they
to
also have to run Rash to use Aurasphere.
no, didn't they change it because of the nature mints, right?
Oh, they might. Oh, yeah, that would definitely fix it. Yeah, okay. Number 10.
All right. We've got the ASU Merrills, Arizona State representation over here.
True. I want to take this one for the start, okay?
Go for it.
All right, so the last two Mons are the same Mon with different types. They're just a big physical beat stick with crappy speed. And then really the excluding Mega Sharpedo, and then counting Rotom Mo, there's six Mons that are like I think important to care about in prep. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
yeah.
I would include Mega Sharpedo in the list of things to care about personally because I think you have to prep for speed boost. Um, but
Well,
yeah,
I think I care about just you know how hard it hits, and it's
right.
probably gonna outspeed you anyway. So
Yeah, like if you like made an invisible line between Rotom and Talonflame and just blacked out everything to the right of Rotom, your
team
draft,
wouldn't
your stri- your
change.
your prep wouldn't really change. Like you're probably running a water move or a water type anyways to resist, right? To resist stuff like um,
Mega
Suicune
Sharpedo.
and Sharpedo. So there's your Scald hitting literally all four of them, right? Like
Oh, by the way, we don't think Talonflame's bad, but
yeah,
it's awful on this team because you have Dragapult
I
and
wouldn't say
Lele.
it's like awful on this team. It fills a pretty decent speed gap, but like the you're already prepping for it anyways based on the first 6 months is my main
Yeah.
issue with it.
Oh, running Gale Wings though is actually impossible with it though. If you have Lele, because if you're at full health,
Yeah.
now instead of your Brave Bird
Yep.
hitting, it
You.
gets
I mean,
blocked.
it probably wants to run Flame Body anyways when it comes, so it's not the
Probably.
biggest loss. But yeah, you have a little bit less flexibility because even if you do want to run Gale Wings, you do need to like play around terrain. Like for example, the team that has Rillaboom, like Caden's team, like Brave, like Gale Wings would be really good because that's a counter to Blaziken, right? That's already
Yeah.
boosted. Well,
But
if you have
then you
Psychic Terrain
can't
up,
really bring the Lele.
yeah, exactly, right? So it's a little awkward, but it is workable, workaroundable, I think. But yeah, like this team needs to rethink its bottom four.
Yeah. Or
Um,
at least one of them. Get rid of either Surfetch or Rampardos. You don't need the same Mon twice.
yeah. And another suggestion we were talking about, if you're watching this, Pulsey, Mega Sharpedo and um Suicune have the same typing, and they aren't really doing like Speed Boost isn't doing that much for you, I don't think, because you already have Talonflame and Dragapult. Like if you switch to like Mega Heracross, you just get a mega better Surfetched, like free.
Infinitely.
Like Like, yeah.
If you go Mega Hera, you can. And we know you like Rampardos, but you could drop the Rampardos, and then you get two, good tier fives to replace the problems.
Yeah, because your team has decent bulk. Like, Suikun's annoying, Blissey's annoying, but like, and you have like good fighting switch-ins with like, you have Lele and you have Dragapult, so you cover Blissey pretty well.
And
But
Talonflame.
Talonflame, true. But this team doesn't really feel like it has a lot you need to respect outside of the scary stuff at the top. So definitely beefing up the back end will help you out a lot, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. So and we think Lele is
Yeah.
gonna be the MVP. Just Dragapult is really really strong, and we think that it's a contender for the MVP on this team. But Psychic Terrain and its breaking ability is like it's. We didn't mention it, but it's literally keeping this team alive.
Yeah, and because of
Without that break, it's kind of terrible.
And because of Pult and Speed Boost Sharpedo, if you do end up keeping it, and we're judging it based on what you have right now, right? So,
Yeah.
like, you don't even need to run Scarf on this thing. You could run Specs, you can run AV, you can run Life Orb. Like, you can go away with you can add a lot more damage
You could
to.
run Citrus Berry.
Yeah, no, you can run Orange Berry, even better.
Run Berry Juice.
Run Berry Juice, let's go. Yo, Endure Berry Juice, when? Please show it to us. Show us the way, Pulsey. But yeah,
True. Show us the Dirt Berry Juice.
Berry Juice, all praise. Let's see what we got at
Uh,
number 10.
yeah, let's check it. Boom. Oh, it's Caden. You
We've got
talked about
Caden
him
and the
earlier.
Whitman Wishcash, the WW. Um, did you know that WW and a lot of W's is actually a substitute for LOL in Japanese text? And I think that might be a pretty good descriptor of this team.
That was a good segue.
Thank
I
you.
wasn't expecting that. Did you? Here I got one for you. Did you know that the W on Wishcash's forehead stands for Wishcash?
Damn, I would have never figured that out. Oh my god, genius. My mind is blown right now. And good thing you didn't pick Blacephalon because he would have had three fire types. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Um,
Um,
you have a very
lot of
scary Fire
overlap.
Water Grass, but
It's
you have
so
like
good.
two
You
Fire
have two
Water
fireworks,
Grasses. Like, why?
which is a problem.
Yeah.
That's like so much overlap.
Cause
Mm.
like your first three mons beautiful, and in a vacuum, right? Moltres amazing, Nihilego amazing, Vileplume pretty solid for tier four, right? I think it's tier four.
Blaziken, like, yeah, tier four.
Blaziken,
Blaziken, like,
scary wincon, right?
yeah,
Drapion underrated. Klefki, Prankster is really good. Galvantula,
Moltres.
Webs, like like you've got good pieces here, Caden. Um, just the way that it gels together and the amount of overlap you have is like very detrimental to the way you want to prep, I think.
Let's like, let's kind of point out the overlap a bit, right? So
Yes.
we aren't just saying it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You've got three poison types, two fairy types, two electric types, two grass types, two fire types.
hmm
Did I miss any?
Nope. And I think
Yeah,
the additional
that's a
things.
lot of overlap.
Yeah. And it's like overlap in a vacuum isn't a bad thing. The reason why it hurts this team a lot is because you have a lot of shared weaknesses to common threats that usually want to support each other. Like for example, um, Rillaboom and Blaziken, they are both weak to flying types, and now you have Vileplume to add onto that. You have you know, Galvantula, which is part bug. So, but you could be like, oh, like why can't I just bring Nihilego and Ampharos? Well, guess what? Ground type destroys both of them, and
Yep.
grassy terrain helps a little bit, but maybe not
Oh,
enough in certain circumstances.
that was another thing we said when figuring this out. We both think Nihilego is like so good,
It's a
but
really
your
good tier two.
entire team is obliterated by ground.
hmm
So it's like a useless Pokemon now. Because normally the good thing about it is that well it can switch in on like these really weird attacks like fighting for example, it'll be neutral to and then it can hit back and kill it. But it can't do that when everything is just running ground moves anyways because your whole team's weak to ground.
Yeah, and ground is one of the most common attacking type. Like everything in its mother gets earthquake, so like you're gonna have to be very careful of edgequake. You have a couple nifty options. You have Magnet Rise Klefki, which is pretty spicy, not gonna lie. Um,
True.
Moltres if are able to play around the 50-50s of do I click Stone Edge or do I click Earthquake on certain mons. But shared weaknesses is really gonna hold you back, and
And we get that there's grassy terrain on Rillaboom, but that's That's not good enough.
Yeah,
There's a lot of other terrains here, and you can't expect terrain to be up 100% of the time. Rillaboom is kind of hard to keep alive. Like, it's
yeah.
not super bulky. If it takes 2 hits, it's down.
I guess the best way to put it is like I love. Don't get me wrong, I love your chorus. Like Vaporeon, Moltres, and Vileplume is a stupid good, valuable like defensive
So
core.
good.
But
All of them with reliable recovery.
mhm, Strength Sap is dumb too, and then you got your Cleric in there, you got your Defogger in there, you got the whole 9 yards, everything
You
you want in
got
a defensive
crazy
core.
speed control.
hmm But then you look at that and you're like, okay, so now I have 3 slots left. I want to bring Blaziken and I want to bring Rillaboom, and you're already overlapping on 2 types right there. And then you have to
Yep.
basically pick and choose between like, do I sacrifice some defensive pressure because if I bring both Rillaboom and Blaziken and Vileplume, all of a sudden I lose to a flying type. So yeah, it's a little awkward with this team. I think you need to make a couple trades to keep the same strength of your cores while minimizing the overlap of weaknesses.
And can we care about your speed tiers? All right, they're bad. Um, you rely like you you don't always get a free speed boost.
Yeah.
Sometimes that Blaziken switches in and dies.
hmm
Uh, Grassy Glide, super good, not always gonna carry. And Thunderwave on Klefki and Sticky Webs, they are not always gonna be up, right? Like there will be teams that will out tempo you, and the speed control doesn't mean shit when you don't have a Mon that's naturally quick.
Yeah, and a lot of these support options are weak to the same things, like right, like Klefki and Galvantula, fire
Yeah.
type go burr, right? So like exactly, like it
Along with your 2 other grass types.
it's tough because you have all the pieces in play here. You have all the pieces of a successful team. There's just terrible. I shouldn't say terrible. They're the synergy between them is very suspect and leaves you open to a lot of common weaknesses, which means that 1 or 2 strong mons can run through your team pretty easily.
Yep. And Vaporeon's MVP
Yeah.
because it's kind of the water glue that'll keep this shit alive.
hmm
Its wish is going to be stupid important. Supports the Ampharos, supports the Drapion, Rillaboom, Blaziken, like all these things that can only really take 1 hit.
Yeah, VAP is definitely the best thing here that doesn't have an overlapping, and it's going to be very valuable for sure.
And 11,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure. We have the Detroit drills.
We started with this team really high,
Mhm.
like 7 or 6,
Yeah.
and it just kept going down.
Yeah, the more we looked at it, the more flaws we kind of felt about it, but it's still not a bottom for a team. And like, I have faith that Waka can pilot this or, make a couple trades to definitely improve this a lot, but there are a couple glaring weaknesses, so you want
Yeah,
to enlighten us.
yeah. Let's so you know how Panda does like the pro con thing? This team has one huge pro and one huge con, right? I'll do the pro first to be
Because
nice.
we're optimists, yes.
That is a god tier core. Those first 4 mons, like they just don't die. That is very strong.
Fat with a capital P.
Yeah. And then the cons are, I think this is the single worst speed tiers I've ever seen on a team. Um, it's what's the slowest fastmon? Cinderace, right? Like 118.
Cinderace is like 118 or 119, I don't remember, and then like Torn is like what 115. I don't know
Yeah,
off the top of my
S-
head. Something like
something like
that.
that. It's literally from like over 110 down to 70. Um, and then from 70 just down to nothing, right?
Yeah.
So all these mons that like really care about getting chip damage off so they can come in, kill, revenge kill and stuff, it just stops mattering when the enemy just gets to be bulky. Because all your mons are way too fast and there's nothing they need to outspeed.
Yeah. And another like less big flaw, but still a pretty big one is that like this team hates hazards. Like sure, court change Cinderace exists, but like your other 2 options are Torn and Articuno.
Yeah.
And
To be fair, they're both maybe running heavy duty boots,
I
but
mean Articuno
even
probably
then,
always is. Torn would
oh yeah,
rather have that item flexibility, I think.
yeah, probably.
Um
So
yeah. This
We think
team,
Dragalge is a really important part of the team.
yeah, it's gonna hit really hard.
It'll break walls open, which lets the revenge killers actually revenge kill. And like Metagross can kind of do that too, but Dragalge does it better. And
Yeah,
Dragalge can do it while still being bulky, like defensive.
yeah. So and there's another thing we forgot to mention, which is kind of fitting because the Excadrill's the mascot. Guess what Mon actually would wreck this team? Excadrill. But look at
Guess
this,
which
right?
one would wreck on this team? Adding Excadrill.
Adding Excadrill, true. Here's the thing though, yeah, because Excadrill Hippo is really solid. That gives you, you know, a very strong physical threat. You would have to probably lose that on court change, but honestly, like
Yeah,
gaining
okay.
rapid spin is valuable in my opinion. The issue with this team is that Cinderace, Mega Manectric, Dragalge, and Metagross, your four main offensive mons are all weak to ground. That needs to change if you want to
Oh yeah.
find life a little bit easier for some of your matches. You're gonna have a hard trouble with teams with strong ground type options, like especially because
Like Mamoswine.
like Mamoswine, exactly, like Scarf Mamo. Well, you know,
Even Life Orb Mamo
even
just
Life Orb Mamo,
fucks
like
this
if it
shit
can
up.
come in, yeah, because like then the ice takes care of three of the four walls, and then knockoff takes care of smoking. There you go. Um, yeah, this team has too many shared weaknesses, like and Mons that are in like the middling speed tier can invest fully into bulk and shred some of the defenses, like a Bisharp, like a Nido, like a
Breloom?
insert like base 70 Mon here that's really strong.
A Metagross?
Yeah, a Metagross would honestly do pretty decent against this team.
Yeah,
Um,
just you don't have to run speed when everything's too fast anyway, so
yeah,
just go bulky and then the
yeah, you could run
things
like
that are
agility weakness
fast.
policy Metagross, and then all of a sudden you're like staring down.
you take the uh you take the pyro ball and just game over.
Yeah, exactly. You take the Pyro Ball and then you play the 50-50 round sucker if you have enough room to run it because you're running court change, and then you just pray. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's tough. Like this team has a lot of good pieces. Like Zelda said, the top four is really good, but the shared weakness of the offensive threats is very crippling to this team, and Torn can only do so much to support that.
Yeah. Recommendation? Maybe just switch out that Megamanetric for something a bit more in the middle speed.
Yeah, we
And
were
then
thinking what Mega Heracross again would be pretty okay.
hey,
Resist
well,
ground gives you a
it's
nice
is Mega
80.
Heracross 75?
I think it's 75, but that's still an improvement over what we have
Yeah.
now.
Oh, that's like a really good one to hit.
If
Yeah,
Pulse ends up
Mega
dropping Mega
Champ 2.
Sharpedo, that could be an option.
Yeah. There's just a lot of things that you can do to
hmm Maybe seeing if you could
mainly
drop
with the Mega.
Alchemy for like a tier 4 somewhere or something, because
Yeah.
like I like Alchemy, but this fairy isn't really doing much for you when you kind of have things you'd rather run. I feel like.
Plus your core is so good. Like I feel like there's some cores that when the Mons work so well together, like these first four, sometimes you don't really need, you know, like sometimes you don't need the fairy.
Yeah, and Articuno
Yeah.
maybe can be switched out as well for something depending, but you really do need another like removal. I think
Yeah.
you do the
Okay.
number 12.
12? Yeah.
Mexico City Volcarona. What do you think about this one? Megalopony good.
Yeah, pretty much Megalopony good. All right, number 13.
Oh, no, let's not do him dirty. Um,
Okay.
like
Big.
yeah, this team's got some
Do,
good pieces to it. I
yeah.
think it's
Do you
besides
want to go over the biggest
Megalopony.
problem?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, the biggest problem is that your water type is Lantern. Now, we both love Lantern. Him and I both. We think it's great. But this is Draft League, and you need a real water type, not Lantern. Like,
Not
you need
Sharpedo
something
either.
out of tier 5. Yeah, Sharpier doesn't count. It's not
Yeah,
bulky.
I think rolling the 50-50 between Volt Switch or Volt Absorb and Water Absorb is kind of spicy, but like I don't know. Like I do think like your Victini plus Megalopony plus Togekiss is pretty good. Reggie steals a nice little wall that isn't like the most passive thing in the world, like Toxic Seismic Toss, sure. Like you can run Iron Defense Body Press, it's still spicy. Miss
Yeah,
Magius is a
Reggie
pretty
feels
good.
good.
Yeah, Miss Magius is also a pretty good tier 4 ghost. Like it hits a pretty good speed tier between Megalop and Victini. Um, the biggest issue with this team, and the biggest issue with like honestly a lot of teams, is that your defoggers are your removal options are Kiss and Rodham Frost and
And Landers.
and Lando. And Lando probably wants to run like Life Orb, like 3 attacks anyways, or 4 attacks. 3 attacks
Three
plus each
attack
turn.
setup and then
Yeah,
four.
or setup.
Yeah.
Rodham Frost is probably going to be running boots and like, yeah.
Honestly, he'll probably be the defogger like 99% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, but
Looking
that
at
means
his
you're
team.
bringing Rodham Frost, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
which
so
is
like,
really
it
bad.
puts pressure on Togekiss and also puts a weird pressure on Roserade, who wants to stack hazards. And then all of a sudden, you don't have Rapid Spinner, so like, you all of a sudden might be put in a situation where you've stacked Toxic Spikes and now you're forced to remove them, or else you'll lose to like hazards of your own, because your team doesn't really like hazards, because like,
It hates Stealth Rocks so
you have
much.
Heal
Like
Bell Lantern,
Lomi
which is
doesn't
good,
care,
but yeah,
but
you don't like rocks or spikes or even toxic spikes for some of the team. But yeah, I don't know. This team feels like it's just besides Megalopunny and Victini missing that extra something, you know?
yeah, we do think Lopunny can do a lot of work here. It's not a bad mon. It's great.
Hmm.
And it probably will be the MVP.
Yeah.
We think it's the most important mon here. Um, but just you can't break as well as you want to. You can't wall as well as you want to. You can't pivot as well as you want to. You can't even really support as well as you want to. Just
Yeah, the biggest issue with this team is that most of its pivots are via Volt Switch, so ground types will do a number on it.
does Sharpie get flip turn?
It might. Probably, actually.
It doesn't have a tail. Wait, it doesn't have like a tail. Isn't that what flip
Yeah, I
turn?
mean, I guess Swampert has a tail, huh? Because I'm like, that gets flipped
Yeah.
turn.
So does Blastoise. It's got like a little tiny tail.
Sharpedo's an invisible tail, who knows?
True. Okay.
Number
Uh,
13.
yeah, 13.
We've got Twitch and the Russia's No Retreat. Um,
All right. So first things first. Celebi's on this, which brought it up to number 13.
yeah, would have been lower.
Wait.
I
Um,
was advocating for this team to be like 15th or like really, really low. I think
no,
this
you
team.
weren't. You advocating for it to be one lower. 15th is.
That's true. I mean, I think
Yeah.
this is a fair spot for it. I think this is also where the next big gap starts, like between 12 and 13. Like this
Yeah.
team is like has it's kind of similar to Pulsey's team in my opinion, except that it only has 3 good mons instead of like 5, and then everything else is like either really bad or hard to use,
It's or
or
there's
shared weaknesses.
a bad overlap. Yeah, like
Yeah,
Empoleon Heatran, that doesn't work together. It's kind of
yeah.
yeah.
Earthquake absolutely demolishes this team. Oh yeah, Mamoswine
Except for
demolishes this team.
Celebi. Oh yeah, Mamoswine.
Yeah, no, Mamoswine just actually says, "Nope, I'm gonna beat you," and
Yeah. So anyone, please draft Mamoswine.
please
Like
pick up Mamoswine.
it's
Yes, if you're
FA.
watching this. I'm literally in Magikarp and I'm telling you to beat me by picking up Mamoswine. Do it.
It even beats JK's team. Like that thing
Yeah,
is a
like no, yeah, like
monster.
legit. But like here's the thing with this team, right? Like Heatran Salamence is beautiful. Like paired together, that's fantastic. I love that. Mega Beedrill,
Beedrill?
beautiful mon. It's frail, but it hits really hard with adaptability. It's got U-turn. It's pretty spicy, right?
Got a
Here's the
decent move pool. It's got that
decent
ground
move
move.
pool. It gets everything it needs to. Drill Run for the steals, and U-turn for pivoting, and Fell Stinger for the memes. It's good. But
Yeah.
the issue with this team is that two main issues stack out to me. Physical ground destroys this entire team. Toxtricity goes down, Diancie goes down, Hoopa has bad physical defense, Beedrill has non-existent physical defense, Empoleon dies,
Cut 20
Heatran
or
dies,
something.
Zweilous, yeah, like everything dies. And the other thing, which I'm actually kind of noticing now, well, two other things actually. Like the speed tiers are pretty middling, right? Like you have Mega Beedrill and then like base 100, and then that's it. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
like you just need to prep your
Wait,
one
isn't
Mega Beedrill
Salamence also
constantly.
base 100? So you got two base 100s here?
No, Salamence. Oh yeah, Celebi. Sorry, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Celebi and Mence are 100, but that's still 45. See, this is
Yeah.
what my team would feel like if I had Aerodactyl and then the next thing was like a Alolan Ninetales, right? Like, but this is worth. Um, Cause like I just need a Scarfer to beat Mega Beedrill. Well, most teams need a Scarfer to beat Mega Beedrill, and then that's it.
And then
Or
they send out their strong ground type. And
yeah, and then like
like the team with Lando, like what?
Yeah,
What do you
Land
do
of
to the
Destroys.
Landorus? What
Yeah,
do you do to it?
exactly.
Even with the Beedrill here, like it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Runegrigus is really good. Like
It
we won't knock that. It
yeah,
tanks shit.
Rodriguez is going to be a very defensive stalwart. It needs to be a defensive stalwart for this team to have any kind of success,
Yeah. And
in my opinion.
obviously Beedrill's the MVP.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that can break holes for Salamence and Heatran to
Mhm.
do
Yeah.
their work.
I mean, like the thing is, I feel like it's going to be the other way around. Salamence will want to be breaking holes for Beedrill, but the other thing now that I'm looking at
Maybe.
it, this team has no pivoting, so Beedrill will not be able to get in safely. It's
Does
literally
Hoop
like
do Hoopa,
Sakamon.
Deontay, and Salami not get teleport?
Does Dancy get teleport?
I
Celebi's
don't know. Deontay doesn't. But what about Celebi and Hoopa?
Celebi gets U-turn and Toxtricity gets Volt Switch, but like that's
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, and that means
You
you're running
that's
Celebi and
that's
Toxtricity.
kind of a pivot. On Runegrigus, you can kill yourself, go Beedrill.
Oh my god. I mean, that's not that's not a
It's a
terrible option, but
multi-step
like for
pivot.
this team, it needs Runerigus to be fat. It
Yeah.
really needs that neutral ground Pokemon that can like pain
Um,
split in your face and Will-O-Wisp your physical ground. I don't know. Like
you
this,
wanna
yeah,
jump to 14?
yeah. Let's jump to 14. No more Twitch
Okay.
bragging for now. We have the
Love
Tampa Lightning
Celebi.
at 14. I'll let Warsaw take this one over.
I'll take this one. All right. So we've had a team like this before, actually. Um, it was like 2 seasons ago, maybe either one or two. It was Magikarp, and they had no physical
I feel like I
attackers.
remember
Now,
that.
obviously, these guys have physical attackers. They got a ton of them. They have no special attacker. They have two special mons on the entire team, being Tapu Fini and Rabambi.
I mean,
And
Nasty
Tapu
Plot
Fini
Bat,
can
you have to
obviously hit.
respect, but yeah.
True, Nessie Plot Bat. Tapu Fini is a wall, so it's not like it can set up and deal damage and stuff, but it's a wall at the end of the day. And then Rabambi is a support mon. It sets up webs, it does U-turns, it deals out some good damage. And then obviously Bat has to set up and then
Yeah, there's no immediate um there's a strong lack of immediate special damage, which honestly takes this otherwise pretty good team and puts it straight down to 14.
oh
Like
yeah. We think that with one trade this team could straight up be like
yeah,
top 10.
and our suggestion would be drop Licky Licky. Like I get having a Wish Setter that isn't Mega Gallade is nice, but you don't really need a Wish Setter on your team. You have
Not
pretty
this
good
team.
defense. Literally grab Delphox, and your team becomes a lot better. Or if you want to
Yeah.
drop Thwacky, because I think Thwacky's useless, drop Thwacky for Simisear.
Thwacky's actually useless on this team specifically.
Yeah, because
Like
like
we
drought.
think Thwacky isn't good in general, but on this team it does nothing.
Yeah, I don't know why you
In
need the
fact,
terrain. Um, I don't know why you'd ever want to cancel out your Misty Terrain. Like the passive healing is nice, but like not being burned on
stopping
Gallade is
Willows is
better.
way better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I like don't get me, like a lot of the pieces on this team I love. I love Feeny Mega Glade. I love Rabombi. I think it's a very good tier 4. I love the little sand core you got going. Jordigan's a very good value tier 4. But like,
Let's
what
play a
is Thwacky
scenario, right?
doing? And
Um.
Licky Licky needs to be a special attacker.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Let's play a scenario really quick, right?
Mhm.
So you're playing this team. JK, you're Tampa Bay Lightning,
Okay. I
and
mean,
you
I'm the
see
Florida
they have a
Panthers, but sure.
Hippowdon.
Okay.
You see they have a Hippowdon.
Yes.
You have no answer.
I have
There's
Thwacky. What are you talking about? I'm just kidding. I have no answer. No, I do have one answer.
more to the
It's
situation.
it's it's like Spec Step Buffini, but like
Yeah, that's your wall. I mean, it's the strongest wall on your team too. In fact, it's like one of the most important things to not be offensive. It's
yeah, Feeny kind of wants to be offensive on this team. Not gonna lie.
which is a bad thing.
Yeah. So getting any type of like competent, like it doesn't like any type of immediate, decently hard hitting special attacker will do wonders for your team. I think
With decent
Delphox
speed.
is very good because it has higher than 100 speed and it has dual stab that can take advantage of and it's got a respectable special attack stat that's better than pretty much anything on your
You
team.
know, actually, I don't know if Gengar got taken, but one thing you could do, drop the Sand Core.
Hmm.
I don't necessarily respect Dragsteel all that much. Ground type exists.
Yeah.
Um, but you could drop the Sand Core, grab Gengar, and then just grab whatever tier 3 you want in. that might also put it top 4. Like that would be strong. You don't have a lot of shared weaknesses. You've got great coverage. You got great speed tiers, but fix that and whew, whew.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely like I like the idea of having a 1-2 punch that you can bring like for example like Ninetales Arctozolt is like pretty spicy and I think it's pretty good, but like this team isn't built with the success of Arctozolt Gigalith in mind.
Yeah.
And you can afford to drop those two because you already have a lot of rockers. You have Crook, you have Pharaoh, you have Druddigan, like, and all three of those are viable rockers. So like, you have your pick to choose which one you want to bring.
Yep.
So
The
I think you have
Licky
flexibility.
feels
Yeah, Licky Licky does as well. So if you do end up holding on to Licky Licky, then I think that gives you more flexibility with the two things you will end up dropping with the Sand Core to see if you can
so.
bolster your special tech.
Tapu Fini is obviously the MVP here. It's the most important mon by far.
Yeah.
It's the only thing like it. Imagine if that Tapu Fini was just another physical attacker. I think this would be 16th.
Azumarill. Yeah, maybe. If
Yeah,
it was like Azumarill, it might be like 16. Oh, well. Hmm. It probably would be 15 at the very least, I think.
somewhere like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and next
Speaking
hit,
of 15,
next
yeah.
15. Whoop.
Kronos, hello there, buddy.
We've got the GWS Gladiators.
Yeah. We're going
We
from
just
Mega Gallade to Comfy with Mega Gallade on it. But yes. I don't know.
we
What do
just
you think about
think
this team?
no synergy. There's
Yeah.
nothing here at all anywhere. We think the speed tiers don't work either. And like we respect the hustle. We do. Just nothing here is really
Yeah, there's a
working.
lot of mons clustered around like 1 to 110 and like that's it.
Yep.
That
And you
being
don't
said,
break like 115, right? Mega Absol's 115.
Absol's 115, yeah, that's the
Yeah.
fastest.
But that's only
No.
after Mega.
Yeah, that's the fastest thing. It's after Mega. Well, I mean, it gets the speed boost turn 1, so like it's fine. Um Prankster's nice. Um I think Jirachi is just going to be the glue that holds this team together and tries to get it to what it wants to do. The issue with this team even more so than my team, like you thought my team had little bulk. This team has like non-existent bulk. Um
What are you talking about? It's got Golbat.
He's
Golbat
got
never dies.
Golbat. The Golbat, like that's the thing, right? Like Golbat is his bulk. That is not something you want to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, like when your bulk is what? So you have to run some bulky mons, right? So his bulk is going to be Jirachi,
It's gonna be
Shaman,
like
Golbat most of the
Shaman.
time.
Shaman Golbat's like his bulk because his threats are all weak to ground.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
So
So
like he's got the right types in mind to cover it, but like you still want some of your offensive threats to probably not die to one earthquake.
yeah, and honestly, at least IMO. That's really all there's to say here.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
strong. Yeah, I don't know.
yeah, like
There's a lot of good mons here, but it
it's
just
a
doesn't work
yeah, it's
together.
a very Chronos draft where he just picks the mons that he likes, and I respect that. I respect that a lot. I do think that if you want to see this have as much success as I think you want it to, you're definitely gonna need to switch up a couple things. I think if you can find a reply, I love prankster mons, but I think Leopard is a bit out of place. Samurot's a pretty
On
spicy
this
tier
team, it
5,
is.
I will say. I'm not sure how I feel about Kyurem here. There might be a better option for
I
this
think
team.
Kirim is terrible here.
I wouldn't go that
That's
far,
me.
but yeah, I'm not sure if there's a better option. I think having a slower, like hard-hitting, bulkier like Mon maybe, because you have
Like
already a lot of
Mamoswine.
things in like that speed range, right?
Yeah. Okay. We've been saying Mamoswine this whole time. What if Kronos got it? That'd make
Mega,
his team way better.
what Mega Heracross?
No, Mamoswine.
Oh yeah, Mamoswine, yeah. I mean, and that would free up like if you drop Karen to Mamoswine, isn't that like an extra 60 points to do something else? Like hell, bump up
Yeah, it's a
Leopard
lot.
to a tier 3.
It's 80 points actually. Oh wait, no, never mind.
Yeah, you could
86.
bump up Leopard to a tier 3, and all of a sudden
That'd
you're
be
looking
good.
at like I don't know, like Fairy, Dragon, Steel.
Mamoswine.
You get yourself a tier 3 dragon. I don't know, get like
Goodra.
Noivern or like
Tyrantrum.
Duraludon. Like
Yeah.
Noivern also gives you something above 115 speed, which is nice. And Super Fang I feel
Also, the
like would help
hazard
your team a
control
lot.
is bad.
Go back gets it though. Yeah.
Hazard control. There's no spinner, and what? There's
There's no
one,
spinner. Your defoggers are Kiram, Comfy, and Golbat.
and then you have Magic Bounce.
None of which want to run heavy duty boots or
None
really.
of which want to take the rocks even,
Yeah.
like ever.
Comfy doesn't really want to run defog because I feel like most weeks it wants to come in for, especially for this team, as an alternate win con.
Yeah.
Um, or just something that just annoyingly like sets up on a like lead seed synthesis and kind of just U-turns in and out. It's very reliant on Mega Absol for magic bouncing stuff, and that is not a recipe for success when you die in like any hit ever. But yeah.
Especially to one of the most common just pivot moves, U-turn.
Yep,
Yeah.
U-turn and strong fighting moves
So
galore.
let's go 16. Yeah.
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 And we'll cap it off with the Houston Reggie Rockets now.
Okay, wait. I want to start this one. I
Okay, don't feel bad.
Yeah, please don't feel bad, right? This is something that we've actually seen people do before. No, well, I guess it wasn't JK, it was me and Twitch and yeah. Melmetal is not a strong enough mon to carry. It in fact in draft it's like it gets countered really hard. And you like your team is all bulk and then Melmel Weavile. And that's a bad thing, right? And it's really bad.
Yeah, this team also has like it's kind of like the Tampa Bay team. It has like one. It's got like Zapdos as a special attacker, but like there's some interesting pieces here. I think there's nowhere near enough pressure. Like Weavile's exerting a lot of pressure, Mometal's kind of exerting a lot of pressure, but like those are two physical mons that are kind of hitting the same stat. And like if you have like a
They're also
strong
both weak
steel
to
type,
fighting.
what's up?
They're also both weak to fighting.
Yeah,
Shared
and they're
weakness.
both weak to fighting. That's true. I
And
mean, Weavile
fire.
really doesn't want to take a strong physical hit regardless. So like
That's
a
true.
strong earthquake will also hurt Embor, which is another physical threat on this team. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like there's some interesting pieces. Like Final Gambit Excelgor is pretty spicy. Mega Slowbros can be a win con, but I don't see it setting up here really often.
I think that like the best option would be like after you've done some whittling and some statusing through Corsola, maybe some hazards with the Selgor, maybe a final gambit to break one of its walls,
Yeah.
and then like on a sack you could get it in. But that's a lot.
Yeah, this team has kind of, it feels like one or two game plans and they're not fantastic. Like
Yeah.
game plan A is break just try to sheer brute force your way through the enemy with Melmetal, Embor, and Weavile, and then claim something with Final Gambit, and then hopefully you can stall out the rest with like Zap Bro, pretty much. Or you just play the long game and like set toxic spikes and just switch between your six walls, but like anybody who knows how to play against stall will beat that pretty handily.
Yeah. We actually have Zapdos as MVP because offensive Zapdos is actually really strong with this team. The problem is that you have to run offensive Zapdos without like a backup option to kind of replace its
Well, the
role.
problem with it is you have to run offensive Zapdos with defog because it is your
Oh
only
yeah,
hazard
yeah.
removal. Besides Weezing, which also gets defog, but like it
Has
doesn't
Mega
really
Form
want
move
to run
slot
it.
syndrome.
Yeah, because Weezing is your heal beller, right? So that's a move slot. It is your
It wants to run
potential
fire
Will-O-Wisper,
coverage.
and then
It
you
wants
want your dual stab and pain split. There's a lot like it
yeah.
doesn't really want to run defog, so it's tough.
Yeah, and it's just your team could be fixed.
Yeah, every
Um
team could be fixed through a couple
oh,
trades for sure.
absolutely. Just really, and maybe this is what you had in mind. Melmetal cannot carry that. It especially in draft, we've already seen it. Melmetal gets shut down like real hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Metal
I
definitely
mean,
seems to be a constant underperformer, and
which is
definitely like
impressive
I
since it's
want
a
to see it
steel type.
succeed. Yeah, I I don't know.
I don't want
What
to
do you
see it
think about
succeed.
this?
Fuck
I
that
think
mon.
dropping a couple of the walls for some offensive threats will help balance this team out a
Uh,
lot.
get rid of the Corsola, grab like a strong tier 3 special
Yeah.
attacker. Um, maybe. Ooh, this is someone who could pick up the Excadrill. Um,
Yeah, having a spinner would be very nice for this team.
yeah, you could turn like I don't even know where, but something on here is askable. I think you have a lot of tier 3s. Is it
Gudra,
Gudra,
Weezing,
Corsola,
and
Weezing?
Corsola. Yeah. I think
But
Quag is a
but
tier
they're
4 and Embor is a tier 4. Embor might be tier 3 though.
Ember might be tier 5.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
Excelgor and Quag are tier 4s. I know that.
Uh,
Double's the lone tier
double
5, I
5.
think. Yeah, he might have 4 tier 3s. Yeah.
Yeah, like you've got space to make some
Yeah, you have
changes. My
the.
recommendation, I have no idea. Mega Heracross, maybe?
As always, right?
No, no, that's physical. Find a special Mega Heracross.
Mega Char Y is not very good because of the removal issues.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Find a spinner.
Mega Garchomp could be interesting for this team, I think.
Mega Garchomp would be mad. Actually, Mega Garchomp would be really good here
Yeah,
with
because you can
paired with
still run technically
Melmetal.
mixed, right? And like,
Oh yeah.
I
And you still
think,
have the scale shot even with mixed,
yeah,
yeah.
you immediately have something very threatening where like, okay, like you,
Also, Bro is a consistent underperformer in draft.
bro
The few
wants to
times it's
like
even
set up Calm
drafted.
Minds in your face, and it's not always gonna get the chance to do that. And bro is also your only like pivot, right? I mean, Zapdos has Volt Switch
Yeah.
and like maybe Excelgor gets U-turn. I don't even know. I mean, I guess
Um,
Double can dry pass, but like yeah, there's not a lot of
yeah.
pivoting here, which makes it really awkward for Melmetal to find opportunities to come in, which is one of
Yeah.
the most important things to have alongside Melmetal.
And
But yeah,
you wanna look at the end
yeah,
or
sure. Yeah, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
don't take this, personally. Like this is all our opinion, our bad opinions, and all
Are
these
you
teams are definitely a couple trades away from being a lot better. It's just a matter of finding that out and figuring out what works with you and what works with your team. But yeah,
yeah,
let's take a look at
absolutely.
some of
And
them.
all of those trades involve getting Mamoswine because it
True.
destroys
Please
this
grab
league.
Mamoswine before I do.
Someone like we we're kind of it's kind of a joke, but like looking at these teams, Mamoswine is actually insane.
100%.
Uh, these teams are like all destroyed by it. At the end, we have Delhi Dragapults,
Hmm.
the Bronx Bearticks, Bolton Boulders, not Tennessee Red Gyarados.
We got the Lake Erie Monsters,
Yeah.
Milwaukee
Uh,
Stantlers, Green Bay Pekekleons. You got me and the Route to Rotata. We got the Canterbury Grand Bulls.
got the Azumarils, ASU the Whitman Wishcash, the Detroit Drill, Mexico State Volcaronas.
Uh, Russia's No Retreat, Tampa Bay Lightning, who will lose in 7 games, by the way. Um, Mega Gallade. Wait, not Mega Gallade. Who is this? Kronos.
It's Kronos.
GWS Gladiators, and we've got the Houston Reggie Rockets. But yeah, thanks so much for listening. If you've,
Thanks for listening to our rambling.
yeah, and thanks for having me on. Uh,
Yeah.
Appreciate it, and
Uh,
it was fun working with you on this for sure. But yeah, let us know what you think. I'm curious to hear. Direct all your anger at me and all your disagreements, and we will
and,
be more
don't
than
take it
happy
too
to hear it.
seriously, guys.
Yeah, it's
Well,
all in
your
good fun.
opinions are wrong.
Our
Opinions are
opinions are
wrong. That is
wrong.
true. Haven't heard that one
Fact.
before. But yeah, no, yeah. But
Okay.
thanks again for watching, and have a beautiful day.
Yep.